Hello everyone, my name is Bhupendra. I'm a PhD student from University of New Orleans. Today I'll be presenting our work on PhishPrint, evading phishing detection crawlers by prior profiling. The security entities such as Google Safe Browsing, PhishTank, Microsoft Smart Screen provide a modern browser block list. GSP alone is deployed in 4 billion devices worldwide. For checking links and emails, some crawlers such as Microsoft Outlook are deployed. It is important to note that security crawlers are to remain unidentifiable to prevent cloaking attacks. Thus, we propose a new system to evaluate security crawlers and analyze the results to demonstrate multiple cloaking vulnerabilities across 23 popular security crawler entities. The existing crawler evaluation approach consists of creating token websites with similar to phishing content and submitting to the web security crawlers. When web security crawlers receive this URL, they visit those URLs and some of them tend to get blocked. When such blocking happens, the entire second level domain gets blocked. Thus, use of different second level domain on phishing site is required. The another issue that existing crawler evaluation approach has is having to define a specific cloaking vectors prehand. Let's take an example. If you are interested in creating a phishing attack for mobile, we'll actually have a user agent based cloaking and submit it to crawlers and find their effectiveness in blocking. Similar idea has to perform on the other different type of cloakings, thus it brings a scalability issues. We provide an alternative approach. Our approach consists of having no phishing content. Our web contents never get blocked. We use a single TLD plus 1, which is a second level domain, creating a multiple third level domains. Thus, it offers a scalability. There is no direct cloaking. Instead, we profile the crawlers with wide amount of forensic information such as IP addresses, HTTP headers, DOM properties, and browser fingerprints. We call this PhishPrint. The PhishPrint starts with creating a token URL generator and submits to a web security crawlers. When web security crawlers receive this URL, they visit the profiling website where we collect crawler forensics information such as headers and fingerprints. We provide a detailed analysis to find new cloaking weaknesses. We call this profiling module. The profiling module information is harnessed into a attack module, which is an array of evasive phishing sites. In the experimental setup, we had 23 web security crawlers profiled for a period of 10 weeks, submitting 12 URLs per day per crawler. On the profiling data overview section, we had 18.5 thousand token URLs submitted to 23 crawlers, out of which 90% of the URLs got scanned. We also find out 8 crawlers shared their URL with the virus total, inviting crawlers from 80 crawlers in total. So we can see virus total ecosystem as a meta crawler. The median scan back time was 1.25 minutes, ranging from 4 seconds GSP to 11.75 hours for Fortinet. A total of about 350,000 HTTP sessions were established of having variant length sessions for each token URL. We use this profiling information as a forensic to create a weaknesses if there any exhibit. So the 3 of the weaknesses we are able to find. One of them is browser anomalies. As by the name itself, the goal is to find do the crawlers have any anomalies that can be abused for evasion, such as JS execution, the ability to execute a simple Java script. Do the crawler employ a real browser, such as based on the execution of HTML5 APIs, Canvas, and WebGL? Similarly, do the crawler betray any artifact of automation, such as based on the analysis of HTTP headers and DOM properties? We wanted to quantify this measurement of weakness based on the specific crawler weakness, and we came up with a cloaking vector defense score. So based on the visited URLs, whether the crawlers exhibit the said weaknesses or not. We reported based on the scale of 0 to 100, with 100 indicating the best performance. The JS execution anomalies showed that most of the browsers were able to execute some form of JavaScript, whereas on the real browser anomalies, except for APWG and VT ecosystem, most crawlers had some form of real browser anomalies. Taking an example for Outlook, Avira, and ForcePoint, which had a score of 0. This basically means that none of the URLs were being requested with the real browsers. Taking an example for GSP, which had a score for 23.9, was lacking support for the WebGL API. Looking at the crawler artifact anomalies, largely positive result with 15 crawlers scores being greater than 90. Similarly, Evira and Alien Vault had a score of 0 due to an anomalous dump property. On the network data, we were interested, do the crawler have any sufficient diversity in their network infrastructure, such as are the source IP addresses of crawler visits sufficiently diverse, as a small IP address set can be easily evaded without losing too many victims. Similarly, on the S block list, do the crawler employ a residential autonomous system for its infrastructures? Based on the regular internet user's visit, it is highly unlikely that the regular internet user will visit from cloud and web hosting services. On the network data, we saw CVD score being polarized, about half crawlers greater than 80 and half crawlers less than 10. From the study, we saw that 11 crawlers visited from less than 20 IP addresses, such as Alien Vault had a 1 and OpenFish had a 2. GSP, Outlook, Phishing, and APWG perform well, which are greater than 500 IP addresses. Taking an instance for the GSP itself, it had 619 IPs visiting from 83 different countries. Whereas on the AS block list, many crawlers, including GSP and Phishing, had a good score greater than 90. Whereas for the Outlook, Alien Vault, OpenFish had a CVD score of 0. Taking an instance for the Outlook, which had all the widgets from Microsoft AS space. On the web fingerprints, we wanted to find out, do the crawlers have any sufficiently diversity in their advanced web fingerprints, such as font, canvas, and WebGL. The reason we picked these three is because from the prior privacy study shown that having a greater diversity and fingerprintability. To measure this, we track the diversity of font, canvas, and fingerprint with a tuple and compute their CVD scores. The results show that despite about 350,000 HTTP sessions established, we only had 204 distinct fingerprint tuples. Please note that 6 crawlers were unable to yield even one fingerprint due to lack of real browsers, even though some use hundreds of distinct IPs. 7 distinct crawlers such as GSP, Alien Vault, Norton, OpenFish, GeoShot had only 1 or 2 distinct fingerprints. Crawlers such as Phishing had the highest distinct fingerprints, only 51, for its 45,000 distinct visits from 4,000 different IPs. Among the best CVD scores, which was from Bitdefender, was only 9.3, was because of 46 fingerprints for its 4,000 different visits. As we can see, there is a great lack of diversity in font, canvas, and WebGL, and which actually showing a way for potential robust evasion vector. The complete profiling results can be found in this table in our paper. This CVD score serves as a report card for crawlers to focus on their most problematic issues. We wanted to conduct a phishing experiments to verify evasive strength of cloaking weaknesses. For that, we conducted 2 experiments, baseline and test set. The baseline consists of 6 non-cloaked phishing sites submitted to all 23 crawlers, whereas the test site consists of 20 PhishPrint powered cloak sites submitted to all 23 crawlers daily aggressively reporting. The results show that all baseline site got blocked in all browsers about 3 hours, which agrees with the prior research. Similarly, none of the 20 cloaked sites were blocked in any browser for 4.5 days, despite aggressively daily self-reporting to all crawlers for 14 days. 2 sites got blocked on the 5th and 16th days because of the manual verifications by human on Phishing and a abuse report to Hostinger. I would like to add that the remaining 18 stayed unblocked indefinitely. We conducted a control experiment, diverse repeated reporting experiment, and user study experiment. The diverse repeated reporting experiment repeatedly reported from diverse locations showed that profiling data we obtained from second domain is generalizable. Whereas on the user study experiment, we performed 2 studies. One with the 1150 MTOC users, another with the 500,000 popular fingerprint database. They both show that 10 to 20% of the users will get evaded by this cloaking logic. On the countermeasure sections, we'd like to recommend for the crawlers to use the real browsers, have a diversification in their network infrastructure, to fight against the fingerprinting being actually used as a cloaking mechanism, have a transparent randomization. Similarly, monitoring of the URL and the weighting of the URL reporters can also mitigate this threat. We would like to add that for vendor-specific recommendation, please refer into our paper. In conclusion, we built a scalable framework to evaluate web security crawlers called PhishPrint, which completely avoids the use of simulated phishing sites or block listing measurement. We deployed this for a period of 10 weeks to study 23 security crawlers specifically and 80 crawlers cumulatively and found several weaknesses. We also confirmed them by deploying evasive phishing sites and control experiment. We also performed a thorough disclosure process resulting in vulnerability rewards and positive remedial actions. We'd like to thank you all for your time. Any questions or comments are welcome.